Welcome to Soundscape Books. You're listening to an exclusive flow fiction recording, a new genre that combines literature with embedded therapy techniques. This episode is specifically designed to help you overcome sadness. Like and subscribe for more therapeutic storytelling. Let the healing begin.
Chapter 1. The Mist. You wake to find the air in your room has thickened. Not with dust or heat, but with something heavier. Something that presses against your chest before you've even opened your eyes properly. The familiar walls seem to have shifted closer in the night. Your coffee mug from yesterday sits exactly where you left it, yet everything feels muffled, distant, as though someone has wrapped the entire world in grey wool. This is how sadness arrives. Never knocking, never explaining itself. Simply settling into the spaces between your ribs, like morning fog rolling in from the sea. You pull on yesterday's jumper, the blue one with the hole near the left elbow, and step outside. The street stretches before you, ordinary yet transformed. Your neighbors' roses still bloom their defiant red against garden walls, but their color seems borrowed from a different day. The postman cycles past, his whistle sharp against the morning air, yet the sound reaches you as if from underwater. Even your own footsteps, the familiar click of heel against pavement, feel disconnected, as though they belong to someone walking several paces behind. Each step forward requires a decision. Each breath, a small act of faith. The sadness walks beside you now, patient as an old dog. Not pushing, simply present. Its weight familiar, unwelcome, yet somehow expected. Like rain in November, or the ache in your grandmother's hands before a storm. But wait. Something shifts in your peripheral vision. A memory surfaces, not of yesterday or last week, but of breathing itself. The simple, radical act of drawing air deliberately into your lungs. You pause beside a lamppost, its green paint chipped and weathered. Breathe in. Count. 1, 2, 3. The air is cooler than you expected. It carries hints of last night's rain and someone's toast burning 3 doors down. Real things, present things. Breathe out. 4, 5, 6. Your exhale creates a small cloud in the morning chill, visible proof that you're here, that your body knows how to warm the air around you. Again. In. The scent of wet earth from the park across the way. Out. The weight in your chest shifts just slightly. In. The distant hum of traffic awakening the city. Out. Your shoulders drop half an inch. The sadness hasn't vanished. It never simply disappears like that. But something curious happens with each deliberate breath. The fog around you remains, yet it's no longer inside you. It's become external weather rather than internal climate. You take another step forward. Then another. The day has only just begun, but already you've discovered something important. The space between your ribs belongs to you. The rhythm of your breathing answers to no one else. And that small sovereignty over your own lungs is where everything else begins. This is your first tool, breath, as anchor. This is your first truth. The sadness may walk beside you, but it need not walk within you. You continue down the street, carrying this discovery like a warm stone in your pocket. Chapter 2. The Bench and the Leaf. The path leads you through wrought iron gates into the park. Here, the morning mist clings more stubbornly to the ground, pooling around the bases of ancient oaks whose bark tells stories in deep grooves and weathered scars. Your footsteps crunch softly on gravel that sparkles with overnight frost, each small stone catching what little light filters through the canopy. There, beneath a spreading chestnut tree, sits a bench. It's seen better decades, green paint peeling like old skin, one armrest bearing the carved initials MH+RJ 1987 inside a lopsided heart. The wood beneath has silvered with age and countless seasons, ordinary, forgotten. Yet something draws you to it. As you approach, you notice, balanced on the weathered slats, as if placed there by careful hands, lies a single leaf. Bright amber shot through with veins of gold, defiant against the grey morning, still holding summer's memory in its edges. You settle onto the bench, feeling the cool wood through your clothing. The sadness sits too, not beside you this time, but somewhere just behind your left shoulder. Close enough to whisper, distant enough to ignore. You reach for the leaf. It crackles between your fingers like parchment, releasing the faint, sweet scent of decay and earth. But here's the thing. As you hold it up to catch the filtered light, it practically glows. This single leaf has refused to surrender its color to autumn's gray demands. And suddenly, a game suggests itself. What else has chosen to remain bright? You lift your gaze and begin to search. Not frantically, but with the patience of someone collecting shells on a beach. Your eyes move slowly, deliberately, giving each detail permission to reveal itself. There, tucked against the base of a lamppost, a cluster of purple crocuses has pushed through the frost-hardened earth. Someone's forgotten lunch bag bears a stripe of vivid blue. A red cardinal lands 3 branches above your head, its chest blazing like a small fire against the bark. 1, 2, 3 colors that refuse to fade. But why stop there? Shapes now. The gentle spiral of a snail's shell abandoned on the path. The perfect triangle where 2 park benches meet a rubbish bin. The soft oval of a pond just visible through the trees, its surface dimpled with the first drops of returning drizzle. Sounds emerge as you listen deeper. Somewhere high above, a blackbird tries out half-remembered melodies, leaves whisper secrets to each other in a language older than words. Your own heartbeat, steady as a metronome, keeping time with the world's quiet persistence. The sadness behind your shoulder grows restless. It prefers when you look inward, when your attention belongs entirely to its grey offerings. But this outward gaze, this gentle cataloguing of life continuing around you, creates space it cannot fill. 3 colors, 3 shapes, 3 sounds. You tuck the golden leaf into your coat pocket, a small trophy from this expedition into noticing. The world, you realize, has been holding gifts all along. You'd simply forgotten how to see them. Rising from the bench, you feel something shift in your chest, not dramatic, but unmistakable. Like a window cracking open in a stuffy room. The sadness trails after you as you leave the park, but it's no longer leading the conversation. Instead, your eyes have learned a new rhythm: seek, find, acknowledge. Beauty hiding in plain sight, life insisting on itself despite everything. Evidence that the world still knows how to shimmer, even on the greyest days. This is your second tool, attention, as treasure hunt. This is your second truth, wonder lives everywhere, waiting to be witnessed. You walk on, pockets heavier now, with both breath and leaf, both anchor and light. Chapter 3: The Square of Light. The park path curves and delivers you to the edge of the old market square. Here, the Victorian buildings form a gentle embrace around cobblestones worn smooth by centuries of footfall. Above, the clouds have begun their slow dance of separation, allowing shafts of afternoon light to pour down like honey through muslin. You pause at the square's threshold, suddenly aware of how different this feels from the misted streets you left behind. Here, people move with purpose and ease. A woman arranges flowers outside her shop, their stems dripping from a morning watering. Two elderly men sit on a bench, their conversation punctuated by comfortable silences and the occasional chuckle. A child chases pigeons in lazy circles, her laughter bright as copper pennies. How strange, you think, that their world can hold such lightness while yours feels heavy. But then something shifts in your perspective. What if their light isn't separate from yours? What if it's been waiting here all along, patient as the sun behind clouds? You find an empty bench, this one newer than the park's weathered offering, its metal warm from the emerging sunshine. Closing your eyes, you feel the light pressing gently against your lids, painting the darkness in shades of amber and rose. Breathe in the warmth. Imagine that light as something tangible, not harsh fluorescent brightness, but the gentle gold of late afternoon in your grandmother's kitchen. The kind that made even the simplest cup of tea feel like ceremony. Let it rest on your shoulders like a familiar shawl. Feel it seeping through your clothing, through your skin, settling into the hollow spaces where sadness has been camping. Not pushing the sadness away, that never works, but simply offering an alternative presence. Light that asks for nothing, judges nothing, simply is. This warmth belongs to you. You've felt it before, in the first sip of properly brewed tea on a difficult morning. In the surprise of finding a handwritten note tucked inside a library book. In the moment when someone's eyes crinkle with genuine understanding. This light is not borrowed, it's not contingent on circumstances changing, it lives in you as you, waiting to be remembered. When you open your eyes, the square seems brighter, not because the sun has grown stronger, but because you've adjusted your inner aperture. The sadness remains, but it's no longer the only voice in the room. Now there's this other presence, warm and steady as a hand on your back. You stand and take a few steps into the square proper. A busker near the fountain catches your eye, an older man with a violin, playing something wistful yet hopeful. His music weaves between the conversations and footsteps, adding its own thread to the square's tapestry. As you drop a coin into his open case, he nods and smiles. For a moment, his eyes meet yours, and you recognize something there. A fellow traveler who knows about carrying sadness, who has also learned to invite light in alongside it. This is your third tool, light as inner anchor. This is your third truth. Warmth is not earned, it is remembered. You walk across the cobblestones, feeling the imagined light moving with you like an invisible companion. The sadness still follows, but now it walks in company rather than in dominion. Chapter 4: The Conversation. Evening edges into the square as you make your way toward home. The shop windows have begun to glow from within, their warm lights spilling onto the darkening pavement. You turn down a quieter street, where the rhythm of your footsteps creates the only soundtrack. Halfway down the lane, you catch sight of yourself in the window of an antique shop. The glass is old and slightly warped, giving your reflection an ethereal quality. Softer around the edges, as if painted in watercolors rather than captured in sharp focus. You pause. When did you last really look at yourself with kindness? The reflection gazes back, tired perhaps, but still here, still standing, still choosing to put one foot in front of the other despite everything. Hello, you whisper to the glass. Your reflection's lips move in silent echo. I know today has been difficult, you continue, feeling slightly foolish but persisting anyway. Actually, lots of days have been difficult lately. But you're still here. The words hang in the cooling air. Behind your reflection, the antique shop's interior glows softly. Old clocks and teacups, leather-bound books, and faded photographs. Objects that have weathered decades, maybe centuries, and still hold beauty. You've been through difficult times before, you tell your reflection. Remember that winter when everything felt impossible, you made it through. Remember when that friendship ended so painfully. You found your way to healing. You have a track record of surviving, even when you couldn't see how. Your reflection seems to listen, head tilted slightly. You don't have to be strong every moment, you don't have to have it all figured out. But you don't have to carry this alone either. You place your palm against the cool glass. I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, we'll figure this out together, you and I. It's an odd thing, making promises to yourself. But as the words take shape in the evening air, they feel more substantial than you expected. Like signing a contract with the most reliable person you know. You're worthy of patience, you add softly, worthy of forgiveness when you stumble, worthy of the same compassion you'd offer a dear friend in trouble. The reflection nods almost imperceptibly, or perhaps it's just the warped glass playing tricks with the light. But something has shifted. In speaking kindly to your own image, you've discovered a voice you'd forgotten you possessed. The inner voice that knows how to encourage rather than criticize, how to comfort rather than condemn. You step back from the window, but the conversation continues in your chest, a quiet dialogue between the part of you that struggles and the part that knows how to hold space for struggle without drowning in it. This is your fourth tool, self-dialogue as sanctuary. This is your fourth truth. You are both the comforter and the comforted. The street stretches ahead, but you walk it now in better company. Chapter 5. The Steps. Your route home takes you along the canal path, where street lamps create pools of golden light on the towpath. The water moves quietly beside you, its surface catching fragments of illumination and scattering them like fallen stars. The sadness has grown restless during your walk. It seems to sense that something is shifting, that its usual dominion over your attention is being challenged. It presses closer now, whispering familiar refrains. Nothing will change, you'll feel like this forever, why bother trying? But your body has its own wisdom. Start with simple steps. Left foot, right foot. The rhythm as old as humanity itself. But as you walk, you begin to link each step to your breath. Something you learned hours ago but had forgotten until this moment. Step and inhale, step and exhale. Your pace slows naturally. Instead of rushing towards some destination, you begin to inhabit the journey itself. The sadness struggles to keep up with this new rhythm. It's accustomed to the frantic scramble of anxiety, or the leaden trudge of despair, but this measured mindful movement confuses it. Step, breathe, step, breathe. After a few dozen paces, you add another layer to the rhythm. With every 10th step, you'll offer a small gratitude, not forced brightness, but genuine acknowledgement of something real. 10 steps, grateful for the warmth still radiating from the coffee shop you passed. 20 steps, grateful for the sturdy boots that carry you without complaint. 30 steps, grateful for the ducks sleeping peacefully on the water, heads tucked under wings. The gratitudes aren't grand or profound. They're tiny recognitions of life continuing around and within you. But something magical happens as you collect them. Each acknowledgement creates a small expansion in your chest, as if your ribcage is remembering how to make room for more than sorrow. 40 steps, grateful for the soft rhythm of water against stone. 50 steps, grateful for the stranger who smiled at you hours ago. 60 steps, grateful for your own persistence, for the part of you that chose to leave the house this morning despite everything. The sadness you notice has begun to lag behind, not because you're outrunning it, that never works, but because you're moving at a pace that doesn't feed its urgency. This gentle, grateful walking creates space where sadness can exist without consuming everything else. By the time you reach the end of the canal path, your breathing has deepened, your shoulders have dropped, and something warm has kindled in your belly. Not happiness exactly, but a sense of coming home to your own body, your own capacity for gentle movement through the world. Step, breathe, notice, thank. This is your fifth tool, movement as medicine. This is your fifth truth. Your body knows how to carry you through, one step at a time. The final stretch toward home lies ahead, but you walk it differently now, not as someone fleeing discomfort, but as someone learning to dance with it. Chapter 6. The Letter. Home at last, you climb the stairs to your flat, your key fitting the lock with a soft, familiar click. Inside, everything is exactly as you left it this morning. The breakfast bowl in the sink, yesterday's newspaper folded to the crossword you never finished, the houseplant on the windowsill still reaching hopefully toward the glass. But you are not exactly as you left. In your pocket, a golden leaf, and the memory of finding beauty in small things. In your chest, the warmth of imagined light, and the echo of kind words spoken to your own reflection. In your body, the rhythm of mindful steps and grateful breaths. The sadness is still here too. But it has changed during your journey. Less like a heavy coat you cannot remove, more like weather you've learned to dress for appropriately. You settle at your small kitchen table, where a notebook lies open to a blank page, ivory paper that seems to glow softly in the lamplight. For a moment you simply sit with the emptiness, the pen loose in your fingers. What if you wrote yourself a letter? Not a to-do list or a self-improvement plan, but the kind of letter you might write to a dear friend who was struggling, someone you cared about deeply and wanted to encourage. Dear me, you begin, the words flowing more easily than expected. I want you to know that I've been watching you today, and I'm proud of how you've handled everything. I know it's been difficult. Actually, I know lots of things have been difficult lately, but look what you did. You got up, you went outside. You found ways to be gentle with yourself when gentleness felt impossible. Your handwriting moves across the page, loops and curves carrying compassion you'd forgotten you possessed. You don't give yourself enough credit for the small acts of courage that fill your days, making tea when motivation feels absent, breathing deeply when the world feels thin, choosing to notice beauty even when sadness suggests there's nothing worth seeing. The pen pauses as you consider what you most need to hear. I want you to remember, you've survived every difficult day so far. Your track record is 100%. That's not luck. That's resilience even when you can't feel it. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to struggle. You're allowed to have days when just getting dressed feels like climbing a mountain. But you're also allowed to believe that this feeling isn't permanent even when it whispers that it is. I'm writing this to remind you that you're not alone in this. Even when no one else understands, I'm here, I see you, I believe in you, I'm not going anywhere. You sign it simply, with love and faith in your strength. Folding the letter carefully, you tuck it between the pages of a book you'll definitely open again, a small promise to your future self, waiting to be rediscovered on another difficult day. The act of writing has created something unexpected, a sense of having been truly listened to, truly seen by the person who knows you best. You've become both the writer and the recipient of exactly the encouragement you needed. Outside your window, the city settles into night. The sadness remains. It may always be a periodic visitor, but it no longer travels alone. Now it's accompanied by breath and beauty, light and kindness, movement and words of encouragement. This is your sixth tool, writing as witness. This is your sixth truth. You are both the question and the answer. You close the notebook and prepare for sleep, carrying with you not the absence of sadness, but the presence of everything else, all the tools you've gathered, all the truths you've remembered, all the ways you've learned to be gentle with yourself while still choosing to keep going. Tomorrow will bring what it brings, but tonight you rest knowing that you've practiced the art of moving through difficulty with grace, one breath, one step, one kind word at a time. This is how healing happens, not as dramatic transformation, but as patient, repeated acts of self-compassion. This is how you learn to carry both sadness and hope, not by choosing one over the other, but by making room for both. This is how you come home to yourself, slowly, gently, one discovered tool at a time.
If you enjoyed this audiobook, a like and subscription to Soundscape Books would mean a lot.